Welcome back, everyone. On today's episode of Duty and Valor, you'll hear the story of a man who faced some of the bloodiest battles of World War II. A man whose exceptional leadership transformed a group of non-combatants into a force capable of launching a daring assault on a heavily defended German position. A man who single-handedly thwarted a planned attack on the rear of U.S. forces. This is the story of Medal of Honor recipient U.S. Army First Sergeant Leonard Funk Jr. Leonard Funk Jr. was born on August 27, 1960, in Braddock Township, Pennsylvania, to parents Margaret and Leonard Sr. He faced adversity at an early age when his mother passed away. He grew up near Pittsburgh and graduated high school in 1934. For years he worked as a clerk before finally entering military service in the U.S. Army in June 1941 at the age of 24, just 6 months before the attack on Pearl Harbor by Japanese forces. The following year, he volunteered for the newly formed Army paratroopers. After completing airborne training, he was awarded his jump wings and was assigned to Company C, 1st Battalion, 508th Parachute Infantry Regiment. The 508th was sent to England for additional training as it prepared for the imminent invasion of France. It was around this time that his unit was merged with the 82nd Airborne Division, and he would serve the remainder of the war with them. On D-Day, June 6, 1944, First Sergeant Funk and a small unit under his command landed about 40 miles from the coast, deep behind enemy lines. Over the next few days, they fought hard and eventually broke through German lines and linked up with other paratroopers closer to the coast. Remarkably, his unit didn't suffer any losses, and First Sergeant Funk was awarded the Silver Star for his actions over the first few days of combat. A few months later, the 508th took part in Operation Market Garden. Operation Market Garden aimed at dislodging German forces in the Netherlands and creating a 64-mile stretch of land that Allied forces could use to attack German forces on their homeland. First Sergeant Funk and his men jumped into Holland on September 17th. Though this operation would go on to fail, First Sergeant Funk was credited with saving countless Allied lives. He led a 3-man team against a German anti-aircraft gun battery. The 3 men killed 20 Germans and wounded many more, thus silencing the guns. For his initiative, outstanding bravery, and strong leadership, he was awarded the Distinguished Service Cross for this action. Through the remainder of the fall and into the winter, the 508th continued fighting further east towards Germany. They were in Belgium on December 16th when the Germans launched their last major offensive of the Western Front. The Ardennes offensive saw the German army sweep through the Ardennes forest, surprising U.S. forces who were unaware of the incoming assault. The Germans' early success resulted in a salient, which is a bulge in the front lines extending into enemy territory. Known for this characteristic bulge, the battle was named the Battle of the Bulge and became the bloodiest for U.S. forces in the war. By the end of December, the Germans' advance was stopped, but they were well dug in. First Sergeant Funk and his men were fighting the Germans for some weeks, trying to dislodge them from local villages and all buildings in between. First Sergeant Funk was with his company on its 15-mile march through waist-deep snow to attack the German-held town of Holzheim in Belgium. Shortly before their assault was to begin, the company's executive officer went down, forcing First Sergeant Funk to take command of the assault. As he considered the German defenses, he realized that he didn't have the infantry support to commence the attack. He formed a platoon of 15 clerks from the 82nd Airborne, who were all non-combatants. First Sergeant Funk personally led this makeshift platoon on the assault. Under heavy machine gun and artillery fire, they cleared 15 houses and captured 30 German soldiers, all without suffering a single casualty. As they were capturing the 30 prisoners, another unit captured another 50 Germans. The assault was short of men, so the decision was made to leave 4 men behind to guard the 80 prisoners. First Sergeant Funk continued the assault with the rest of the men and returned to the town to ensure it was clear of the enemy. After a few hours, Holzheim was under Allied control. During this time, a passing German patrol aided the 80 prisoners in overwhelming the 4 guards. The Germans were gathering as many weapons as they could and were about to launch an attack on the rear of Charlie Company when First Sergeant Funk returned. Unaware of what was transpiring, he rounded the corner of a building into the yard where the prisoners were being held. As he did so, he realized what had happened. Armed with only a submachine gun slung over his shoulder, the Germans thought he was no threat, but they were wrong. As a German officer aimed his pistol at First Sergeant Funk's stomach and yelled at him in German to surrender, he slowly began to unsling his gun. His movements were slow but deliberate. As he was about to lower his gun to the ground, First Sergeant Funk pulled his trigger and gunned down the officer and a few men around him. He then began yelling at the other men to arm themselves. The 4 guards quickly seized German weapons and joined in the fighting. In a matter of moments, they were able to kill 21 Germans, wound another 24, and take the remaining men as prisoners. His heroic actions again saved the lives of countless Americans by eliminating the planned German attack. First Sergeant Funk served the remainder of the war before being honorably discharged in 1945. A few months later, on September 5th, First Sergeant Leonard Funk Jr. was awarded the Medal of Honor by President Truman for his actions at Holzheim. In addition to the Medal of Honor, some of the other awards he received during World War II were the Distinguished Service Cross, Silver Star, Bronze Star, and the Purple Heart on 3 occasions, making him one of, if not, the most decorated paratrooper of the war. After the war, he took a job with the Veterans Administration and retired in 1972 as the Division Chief of the Pittsburgh Regional Office. On November 20th, 1992, First Sergeant Leonard Funk Jr. died at the age of 76, and he is buried at Arlington National Cemetery. First Sergeant Leonard Funk Jr. epitomizes courage, resiliency, and unwavering dedication to duty. Not only did he escape being captured, but with sheer audacity, he single-handedly turned the tide of battle. Funk's legacy stands as a reminder that true greatness can only be forged in times of adversity. Thank you for listening to this episode of Duty and Valor. To read more about this week's hero, check out the sources used in today's episode in our show notes and at dutyandvalor.com. If you want to listen to our episodes early, we release new episodes on our YouTube channel of the same name on Fridays at 5 p.m. Also on our channel, we release daily YouTube shorts that highlight our nation's heroes, most of whom haven't been featured on our show yet. Be sure to like, follow, and share our episodes. And please join us for our next episode, where we'll be sharing the inspiring story of another American hero who served with pride and lived with humility.